Hello, beautiful ignited souls. I'm looking for my fork. You know, when you have a real delicious meal to eat and you know you haven't got yours, you sort of pick, oh, isn't that lovely? And then, oh, use the fork. No, it's better with your hand. You're doing direct contact. Okay, all right. So we're gonna dig in deep. I am ready to dig in deep. Are you ready to dig in deep? We are ready to dig in deep. Yes? Say yes. Yes. Okay, lovely people. Thank you for watching me. I am Crimey, watching me, joining me. Yes. Thank you for joining me, and because I think joining is better. It feels that you are with me, and I feel that I am with you. Okay, so yes, I am Crimey Queen. In case you are new on this channel, this is the 14 gods that we have discovered in Genesis of chapter 1, because this is where we partake of spiritual food and things that will ignite our synaptic nerves, and things to elevate us that nourish our minds, body, and spirit to becoming what? Best versions of who we truly are. Okay, so I am exploring, okay, the gods are on here. I can call them out quickly because now I am really about ensuring that my videos are no longer than 15 minutes or so, considering we are working with numerology as well. So I'm even timing myself here. So we are the blessed God, breathe God, said God, saw God, set God. Okay, I'll say that in a way that makes more meaning to you. The God of blessings, the God of breath, the God of saints, the God who saw, the God of settings, the God who moved, the God who made, the God who created, the cause God, the called God, the divided God, the ended God, God of endings, plantings, God of planting and formation. Okay, did I say causation? God of causation. Okay, so I will, it's just the essence of who the gods are. Now I have, oh, this is like, I've got so much information that I'm trying to just bring out in a way that is coherent and joyous as well, and useful too, because it's not everything that comes out is really as useful. Okay, so I have just done a video on looking at the letter B and number 13 and seeing how it's really our incubator. So really it's the incubator, and just a deeper explanation about why I think, not just think, why it is so that the number 2 here, this is where it denotes that Christ had the Last Supper. So this is the Last Supper. So this is basically like breaking of the bread, breaking of the tablet with Moses, building the bones with Ezekiel, um, uh, there's with Abraham, having the two sets of sons. That's another thing, because Sarah, in the story of Abraham and Sarah, the father of many nations, he had his first son with who's Ishmael with Haggai. So there is a sort of friction. All these things will um, explaining or denoting a degree of friction or confusion, so one could grow and develop into creating man in their own image and likeness. So we had Jacob, for instance, who tricked his brother, because his brother Esau was meant to be the one who should have got the blessing, and so with the mother now, Jacob, of course, there is always mother in the background, which is showing very much the story of Adam and Eve. It's just like Eve saying to, I would say Eve, because there were different Eve saying, has God said you should not eat of the fruit? It's the same way that Jacob's mother said, I think you ought to be the one to get the blessing. So there is always a third party involved trying to instigate or make something happen in some way. It's always free, and then three has to go through that fight, if you like, of finding their W, finding which one or which side they are going to go on. We see that happen with Cain and Abel, of course, and God was in the midst of that fight as well, until of course you have Cain is the one who's left, and and God says, okay, well, from here I'm going to cast you into the east of the garden or somewhere else or whatever it is. Or he goes and find his wife, and that's a whole lot of story. But there's always some huge demarcation of something happening, which is what we are going through here right now. So yeah, where was I? So with the gods, yeah, we have the 14 gods. Yeah, we have discovered in Genesis of chapter 1 and 2, and it's no wonder we are talking about 2, how this 2 comes up. So I was talking about 13 with Jacob. So we learned that Jacob, Jacob, and like a cob as well, we can see that the word um it speaks for itself, because father of many nations, and a cob like a corn has so many grains of corn, so it's like the whole world, it can declare that they are from Jacob. Okay, so this is 1 1, and it's just like the word Jesus, Jesus. So these 5 letters, I'm just saying. So this is 362. We also see the B at the end of Jacob, really saying, like, okay, as if this is 2, you are doing 2 here, and this separate 2 that he has inherited from his father or whoever it is, and that he came into the world with. He's that master number. He's got to get to this stage of humble, and in that's the incubator, and as it's really like mapped out that he would get into this stage. The story also shows us or tells us as well how the fights between him and his brother went, and he had to ask for forgiveness. So we can see a lot of what was happening there, but the deeper layer of this is the incubator of that many nations would come through this, because a lot of work, it's like the beehive, it exists in this parameter to really bring about the fullness of that nation. We see it's 5 letters, which also denotes the number 5, to say that it is really of Mother Eve, just like in the word Jesus. And I like the word Jesus as well, in the sense that the US is at the end, where Mother Eve says, let us make man in our image after our likeness. It almost feels like as if there is something that, again, it's like a clock is being turned. It's like when they turn the clocks back. That is how it feels like with Jesus. It's like SUSEJ or something, as if it's ought to be another word, but it's turned to give some deeper meaning. So I just felt that it was necessary, as I say, that the B is also this number 13, as you can see. If you were reading this as well, you would know it's Jacob, but this is where Jacob's mother, you could say, or his father, and he and his father, they came into agreement. The father felt his hand. He had to disguise his hand because his brother was hairy and he wasn't hairy, I think, if I remember well. And he had to wear something to, some goat skin or something to disguise his hand. Hand is very symbolic here again, or hair, because hair is also saying you are present. Although it's this hair, but this is where all the information is. This is where your DNA is. If something, all tests can be done to really tell so much about you through your hair. So hair is present. And so we can see the essence of how all these are playing out. And just to, okay, I've got 7 more minutes on here. And so I also want to do a video on the kids coding game that I came across, that which is in a different context. But oh, let's do the numerical value for Jacob. Yeah, let's do the numerical value. So this is 2, 5, 11, 12, 13. Well, I did say 13. So we have it's 13 and okay. So 13 is 4. 1 plus 3 is 4. But again, we see how 4 is also here. So in this story, we know this coincides very perfectly with the with the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. So we learn that Christ was with 12 disciples at the Last Supper, and he, of course, was crucified. Okay, and he at the table before being crucified was the 13th. And of course, I see that when he has gone through the tomb, and I came across a text that say, and he rose again. On the third day, he rose again. I'm not sure when the first time was. That's what I want to understand. No one questioned those things. I want to know, when was the first time that he had risen? Was it when he was born? Could you say that it was when he was born, that he was in the womb? But could you say he was dead in the womb? No. So I'm not seeing that as the same thing. I'm seeing it as something different. And he rose again on the third day, But these are the things when we look through numerology, it gives us more meaning, a deeper meaning. So there we have to dig in deep. We have to dig in deeper. Okay, so on the third day as well, the word third, which is 1, and day is 12, that means third day, so that is 4 as well. That gives the same meaning here. Oh, I go with it. THIRD, and this is 28994. So this is 10, 20. 10, 20, 32. I'm glad I did it. So it's 32, 10, yeah, 32. And day, D-A-Y, on the third day, which is 417. So this is 10, 11, 12. So 12 is 3. So 3 plus 5 is 8. And this is just like when Mother Eve ate. We can see how the number 8 comes again and plays out. And this is where the new cycle begins again, because whenever we come with 3, it's that new cycle, because 3 is like almost feeling like mischievous. 3 feels mischievous. It's like, of course, it equals bread. So it means that BREAD. I think I've done this before and it's 21. So, okay, again, we have 13 here. If we added this as 13, we would see that we have a different new numerology number on there. But that's the thing about when it is said, and God, Christ had a miracle with the bread and fed so many people. We could see how bread can be multiplied like that. So this is 9514. I am on target. Okay. So I've got 2 more minutes. So basically this is 20, 10, 19, 21. So I was correct. So that gives us 3. And 3 is just busy like that. So this is why it is also said that, well, woman as well is 21. Bread is 21. There are so many 21s, but you can see that it has that dynamic and very busy nature, and really is so, as I say, dynamic. It's flighty. It can do so many things, but until it breaks to really see its opposite as really reflecting, which is what we are meant to do. Fine. This is why it is said For anyone to become whole, they must be broken. This is the word broken. So instead of waiting to get hit by a bus or something or whatever, have a tragedy, you can initiate your own brokenness. Decide that you're going to go within the core of your being, because this is where, oh, I was thinking that I had the word core here. This is where, in the course of life, you need to go deep down into the core of your maker, because we have the cause, then there's the curse, the cure. You have to go to the core to get within the heart. I'm going to revisit this as well. Okay, so thank you very gladly. I hope you enjoy this deliciousness. And of course, you can always invite other people for this partaking of the other videos that we are doing. If something is really delicious, you want to share it, So thank you for sharing, liking, and subscribing. And of course, spill over with love. Stay ignited.